If you're a blue belt or a white belt that's on the cusp of getting your blue belt, today is for you. We talk about the low points of getting a blue belt, why so many blue belts quit, and how to get back on the mats. I share my experience, and Brother Tubbsy takes a mick out of all of us while asking the really important questions. Welcome back to the Flowing State of BJJ, where we talk about all things jiu-jitsu. This is our 10th episode, and it's part of our belt series. So we've done a podcast about spazzy white belts. So today we're going to talk about the blue belt blues. And this is an important one. This is a milestone. So Tubbsy, what do you think about the blue belt?
Okay, so as you mentioned, it's part of our belt series. We did a good podcast on spazzy white belts, and naturally we've gone on to blue belt blues. I haven't got a clue what blue belt blues means. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was hoping that you could give us an insight to what actually blue belt blues are. So, in your opinion or your experience, what are blue belt blues?
So blue belt blues is a phenomenon that happens when someone gets their blue belt. And what happens is we award the blue belt, and now there's a pressure because the white belts that are coming up, right, see you as the target because you're the freshest meat, right? So you're something that's attainable, right? And the purple belts are just like, oh, hang on a second, who's this new kid on the block? Yeah, new meat. So the purple belts maul you, right? So that feels like you're getting murdered, which it felt like before. But now every roll with a white belt is just so much harder because they're putting in 100% every roll. So that amplifies the situation. You've got this thing about, do I deserve it? You've got all this pressure you feel like that's coming on. All of it comes together, and it's something that should be such a happy time. Sometimes turns a little bit depressing.
So does the blue belt blues occur as soon as you get your blue belt? So when you get, you got promoted now, you've given someone the blue belt, so at that particular time, or is it as time goes, so they've got the blue belt, time goes on, and the blue belt blues they might be feeling like kind of motivation is down, is it later on after the belt or as soon as?
It's in the first couple of, I'd say about a month, couple of weeks after this awarded. So there's an initial euphoria, everyone gives you a hug, you're all cool, yes, fantastic. Then you get to the rolls and everyone's trying to absolutely maul you, right? And then you get into this, you get into your own head about like, what is all this? So it's that period just after you get awarded your blue.
Is it? Okay, so let's say they've got the blue belt now, and the blue belt blues, I'm supposing it lasts throughout the full time that you're a blue belt?
Oh no, just the initial period. The blue belt blues is the initial period of when you're a blue belt. You're not quite sure if you're there. Should I be a blue belt? I'm getting smashed by this white belt just beat me. Because you're a fresh blue belt, and we'll talk about grades and all that stuff. But like, you're a fresh blue belt, you get beat by this competitive young blue belt. You get competitive young white belt. You get smashed by him, and you're getting your own head about what's going on here. So that's the blue.
Is it because there's pressure that you have to perform like you're no longer a beginner? Because you can't say blue belt's a beginner anymore. They would have had a couple of years at minimum at a white belt, progressed, and they've got the blue belt. Is it because they know mentally there's this added pressure that they've got the white belts who are going to be looking at them to beat them, or the white belt might be on the cusp of getting the blue belt, so they might think, oh, if I beat that new blue belt, then coach will see I deserve a blue belt. So is it because they're no longer a beginner and there's that pressure to perform?
Yeah, and it's the pressure that they've got put on themselves, right? So as a coach, the reason I've given them the blue belt is I know their level, or I believe in their level. But in their mind now, they have to prove they're a blue belt to me. Well, you already did. Or they have to prove they're a blue belt to their peers. So it's that pressure to perform can sometimes get in their own head.
Well, once you've given them the accolade of being a blue belt, there might be a feeling of like they've kind of plateaued this might be a bit after they've had the blue belt, and that can kind of, I know you're saying the blue belt blues are initially when they get the onset of the blue belt, but later on, as in jiu-jitsu, your journey's peaks and troughs. You know, you plateau. Sometimes you feel like, am I even getting better? And these questions will probably arise, do I deserve this blue belt? So I can imagine you've seen that in your time as well.
100%. So you doubting yourself is something that's not uncommon in jiu-jitsu. And it happens in more than just the blue belt, but we're talking about the blue belt today. That drop I talk about, and there's something I say to a lot of my students, which is, well, if you're going to quit, and blue belt is a quitting belt, we'll talk about that in a bit, but if you're going to quit on a high, which doesn't make sense in and of itself, right? Yeah. Because why would I quit if I'm coming into the gym and I'm smashing everyone, right? I'm giving the purple belts a hard roll. Yeah. Why am I going to quit? Yeah. And the reason I say it is the lows that you're going to go through, right, throughout your career, but this blue belt low that you're going to go through it lasts for a certain period of time, and you'll come out of it. Right? And as long as you don't quit, the thing we bang on about consistency, just keep turning up, keep working hard, prioritize the good things, win the little battles, and you'll get over this slump in performance. Right? So that is one aspect of the blue belt blues, that you have a slump in performance. Am I good enough? Again, getting into your own head. Right? And then people stop training and they take, I just need a week's rest. Week turns into a month, turns into 6 months, turns into a year. It does happen, yes.
I can imagine when you're at a white belt, for example, you're always comparing yourself to slightly better people or much better people. Obviously, like the next attainable belt for you is a blue belt, so you can compare how far am I off them. I can imagine that when someone gets their blue belt, that comparison becomes a lot more heavier. So, for example, it could be a comparison downwards or a comparison upwards to a purple belt, where they might train with a white belt and they might have a off day or something and they get smashed and absolutely mauled, and that comparison becomes really heavy, which can influence this blue belt blues, just staying for a bit longer than you want it to. So, how do you think comparison affects blue belts at that particular level?
So people said you shouldn't compare yourself to other people in the gym, but it's inevitable you're gonna compare. Not in a bad way, in terms of that person's the next person I need to get to. Like, I want to be as good as that person. Yeah. I want to be as good as that person. So if you're a new blue belt, right, don't look at the purple belt or the brown belt and go, that's my target. So that's a big leap now, right? So look at the other blue belts. Someone who's close. When you're rolling, you have a good match with him, right? And I remember we were talking about the Spazzy White Belt episode, have little goals. Right? So when we were talking about Spazzy White Belts, we were talking about don't get sub, the same thing applies here. Have little goals that you can achieve with that person who's close to your level. If this person always takes you down, always ends on top, and you're underneath, on defensive all around, well, now you're a blue belt. Let's try getting in. Let's try getting a sweep. Maybe get a leg lock. Come up on top. Get some sweeps in. Yeah. And that's your goal. All I want to do is sweep this guy. How am I going to sweep him? I'm going to get to a leg. I don't want to finish the leg lock. I just want to come up on top. Yeah. Little goals are achievable, and that's where your progress is going to come.
It's really interesting that you say that, because I remember when we spoke about Spazzy White Belt, you made a big emphasis of it's not about winning the war, it's about winning the little battles. And is that the same kind of approach at blue belt, where you shouldn't be thinking, oh, this guy is better than me, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do an armbar on him. It's more these little wins. So do you think the approach is still the same?
The approach is the same. Sorry, cut you. The approach is the same. Yes, the approach is little battles that you can win. Yeah. You don't have to get this up. I remember one of our guys went to compete and he got 5 advantage points for leg locks. Right? In my mind, I was over the moon. He was devastated. He lost the match. Right? I was over the moon. Yeah. The hardest bit is getting them little battles. Yeah. Right? How to finish the leg lock. That's not a hard thing to do. We can teach you that. But the little battles are the things that we need to win. Right? So build the little battles, the plans, the designs. How am I going to win the little battles? My arm keeps getting exposed. I keep getting underhooked. Win them battles. And the rest of your game will start gel around them.
Yeah. 100%. I couldn't agree with that more. We think stuff like injuries, more responsibility, less recognition affects blue belt having the blues.
All of them things that you mentioned there can come into the melting pot. Yeah. Injuries, like if you're in a bad mental state where you're not quite winning as much, everything's harder in the gym. Now you pick up a little niggle, like everything gets amplified when you're in that down moment. So all of them things play.
Because I think one particular aspect I just want to touch on is the recognition aspect. I can imagine, like, for example, a white belt comes in, they're going to be like a little baby to you, and they might just, get into close guard, and you'll be like, oh, well done, excellent, close guard. But then you get up to a blue belt, obviously your standard, your expectation as a coach and your standard will increase in respect to how they perform. So they might not get that, oh, well done, you got into close guard. Now it'll be, well done, you swept another blue belt or something. So I think it's only natural for that recognition to maybe in the initial stages to lessen. Would you agree with that?
So the expectation, you're right, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. The expectation is higher, right? Yeah. So where when someone does a sweep, I'm like, oh yeah, fantastic, and this guy does a sweep, I'm like, it's expected of you to be able to perform that sweep. Yeah. So there's not as much positive feedback because I expect you to know now. So the baseline has gone higher. Now to impress me, you have to do more. Whereas you were an outstanding white belt, now you're just a normal blue belt as well. So you got to think about that as well.
Yeah, 100%. So we've explored here what blue belt blues actually are. I didn't know what it actually meant. I was thinking blues. What is it? Some kind of music? Like we used to learn blues anyway. So we've explored what blue belt blues are. Just want to ask you a couple of questions, Coach Barber, just in regards to when you were a blue belt. I know this is going back down memory lane now. And I'm not saying you're old, but in terms of jiu-jitsu, your career it is pretty old in sense you've been around the block. 25 years we mentioned on a previous podcast on the origin story of Coach Barber. What did jiu-jitsu feel like before and after the blue belt for yourself?
For me, I want to put this nicely, but I'm going to just say it like it is, right? I was a stupid young guy. Right? Like I didn't understand what I was doing. Like I knew I enjoyed this. Like I fell in love with it. That's why I was traveling. When I got my blue belt, I was at Nova Vida in Huddersfield. Right? So I'd already fallen in love with this art. This is what I was going to do. This was my pastime. This is what I did. So when we talk about it like that, as a white belt, I didn't know what I was doing. Right? All I did was I close guard, armbar, close guard, armbar, close guard, armbar. I didn't know how to pass a guard to save my life. Coming up on top, like I was just like, what am I doing up here? Right? Even if I got to mount, right, I'd be looking to turn back around and get back in close guard. And the close guard was my thing. So close guard, armbar, everything. Once I got to like my early blue belts, my coach started saying I'm not allowed to use my close guard anymore. So now I'm like, oh, now I'm lost. I might as well put a white belt back on. So I was like, I'm trying to work out what's going on. How do I navigate this situation? People are passing my guard left, right, and center. I'm going like, whoa, am I a blue belt? Am I even a blue belt? Because I used to be able to hold even like some good guys in the gym. I used to be able to hold them in my guard. Now I'm opening my legs and these guys are jumping past my guard. I'm just like,
who would think that Coach Barber back in the days was a guard player? Obviously, the guys at gym know how that pressure feels. It's a big change of contrast to where you are now and how you was then.
I'm going off on a tangent and we doing this. It's why when people come to me as white belts and blue belts and they complain, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like the change I've had in my jiu-jitsu career, right, from external stuff impacting me, my coach, I've turned into, I'm a coach now, so that impacting me physically, I've developed impacting me. When they come to me with a problem and I'm like, this isn't a problem. You're just so early. Don't worry about it. But then they just look at me like, you're not listening. I'm like, okay, I'll humor you. But like sometimes the problem really isn't a problem. Just grow with the sport. But going back to after, there was a real mental down, like what's going on here. I wasn't aware enough of it to think about quitting. Because shortly after my blue belt, I was coaching some people because there weren't many coaches back then. I was coaching a small group of people. And my promise to myself was that I would stop coaching if I stopped learning. So I tied them two things together. So I couldn't stop learning because I had to keep coaching these guys. My commitment to them meant that I had to go here. Sometimes it was hard. like I didn't want to go, but I had to go.
And I think that's your ethos now. You have this great kind of approach of still learning. And we did mention that a little bit on our last podcast, previous podcast, episode 7, which was on comp. And you said one of the main reasons you got comp is to learn. So, it's good to see that you're still living by the sword you once held back then. Do you think blue belt comes with unrealistic expectations?
So there's a topic here that we need to explore before we answer that question, and keep that question because we want to answer that question, right? So we need to talk about belts. Blue belt's an important belt because it's the first belt you earn. Yeah. Now, white belt is earned by walking through the door because that's a nerve-wracking experience. You're going to combat martial arts. You don't know what's going on. If you've never grappled before, you've seen a bit of UFC, you're just like, ugh, do I really want to do it? But you've managed to get over that anxiety, them nerves. You've made the phone call. You've registered for beginner's class. You've turned up, and now you're in the gym. So that's a milestone in itself, an achievement in itself. But now you're being rewarded for a level of skill. And there's a point of view out there that we need to address, that belts don't matter. Yeah, it's usually held by people who don't run gyms. Yeah? Because for them, personally, belts might not matter. Cool. You can hold that view. Yeah. This is why they matter to me. Right? A belt is not your standard to judge yourself against other people. For me. Right? So first of all, I see the belts as a gradient from one belt into another. Right? So if you think about gradient, if you will, for a second, go on a thought experiment with me. Right? So a white belt from white into this blue, right? The gap between a solid blue and a pure white belt, there's a gradient of getting like a blue belt of blue and white mixed, like a light blue, and then eventually it's a solid blue belt. Right? At what point in that gradient do you give someone a blue belt?
When they get a speck of blue in the white, or is it when it's totally blue?
Yeah. And there's a difference there. Also, a young, let's call him 16-year-old competitive blue belt, right? He's a blue belt, but there's a dad of 3, 45-year-old, right? Never going to compete in his life, right? Does he never get his blue belt because he's not up to that standard?
And that only stands correct if you're comparing to each other. And your point is, it should be comparison to oneself.
What's your ability? So now as a coach, what I have to judge is what's your black belt level? What's your total capacity? Right? And based on that, I'm going to split it and go, okay, you're a blue belt. Yeah. It's not you against the world. Now, if you decide that you are competitive, that changes things. Or there's new metrics we have to throw into this now, right? Because now I do have to look externally.
Yeah. How would they do in competition? We
have to add this. Like, they go to competition as a white belt, they get smashed. I give them a blue belt. Well, that's not going to be a good thing, is it? Yeah. So they might be in their little world, right? In their scale, they might be coming up to a blue belt. It might be more blue, light blue than white now, right? But you're competing. You're not winning enough comps yet, right? We got to change that.
The standard changes, doesn't it? Yeah.
Changes. So, and I do grade like that. Right? There are competitive blue belts and non-competitive blue belts. There's a difference. Should the standard be 1? If it was, then that 45-year-old dad of 3 is never getting his blue belt.
Blue belt, yeah. Because you do see, like, you hear like 65-year-olds finally getting their black belt, and you'll be thinking, oh, you're younger, might be a 20-year-old who's a good competitive blue belt. It's likely that they'll probably, get the better of this particular older individual for this example. So I think the point that you make is totally correct. It's your self journey rather than how you are against other people.
With one last bit, because there's going to be some people pulling their hair out, like saying, no, the standards should be the same. We should all be one. Cool, no problem. What's the black belt level? Yeah. Are we talking the likes of Gordon Ryan, Nicholas Marigali, Craig Jones, Joseph Chen? These guys are black. You see how long Joseph Chen was a brown belt for? Jeez, man. Takit's just got his black belt.
Yeah. And his level, his purple belt was probably a lot of black people's level.
That's the level, right? No one in the UK is a black belt. So if we're looking at it like that, let's put a world scale on, right? And these guys up here are black belts. No one else in the world is a black belt.
Yeah. But even then, when you're saying, like where someone's competitive, but then I think these people you mentioned, that's even a higher scale. These are elite world. So but it just supports your point even more that if, all right, let's put it in a global scale, no one's becoming a black belt in the UK ever. Who's the closest? Can't think of anyone.
So here we go. Like now we're talking about, let's bring it to the UK shores, right? If that's the scale and we're going, and grading would be so much easier for a coach, right? Because there's a standard. So now let's say that we bring that back to the UK. How many true, if that is the scale, and I don't think it is, and it isn't. If that's the true scale where we go, okay, only these elites are black belts, right? Then okay, Ethan O'Flanagan, he'll get it.
There's no one else. Yeah, they can.
So that's not the standard, and that's unrealistic. That's not how it is. There's a personal journey, and jiu-jitsu is about a personal journey, right? Now there is a technical aspect to it, right? It's not just time on the mat. There's a technical aspect that you need to learn how you can perform them. It's not just theory, because then we just be like the Japanese jiu-jitsu, and we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So now there needs to be a practical application to it, right?
And so skill acquisition as well, right?
Skill acquisition and the ability to actually do it. So what I'm looking at, right, is in a role, are you doing things? Yeah? I'll give you an example of today. I was at wrestling. Yeah, there was a guy who I was rolling with, and did a takedown, snapped him down, got to a front headlock. Right? Now, previously, I've been able to finish this front headlock on this guy. In our jiu-jitsu classes, we've done a lot of front headlock defenses, and it was specifically for this guy, right? Because in comp, he didn't do so well in front headlock, and I thought, you know what? Let's drill this. And we drilled it. Today, as soon as I got to that front headlock, boom, escape. Right? Inside, I was chuffed. Yeah, I couldn't tell him that at that moment because he was grabbing my legs, but but like inside, I'm like, yes. So skill acquisition, one thing, they're able to demonstrate that skill. We need to show that as well. And then your ability with the other people in the gym, doesn't matter. It plays a little bit of a role in there. But then on your scale, how good are you going to be? That's a major factor inside the role in grading people.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that particular approach. I'm one for it's a self journey rather than this comparison. Let's explore what the harsh truth is behind why people quit at blue belt. Is it, I'm thinking like, you've got a blue belt now and, you're on a high, your ego's growing, and then you come and roll with the other blue belts or the purple belts are still, taking it harder on you now. Do you think someone's ego getting smashed has an effect of why they quit as well?
It could be. Ego is a big thing, and it's hard to leave your ego at the door. I know we say leave your ego at the door, and we should, and we try our best. But sometimes it's hard. One of the things that I would say that causes people to quit at blue belt is, and this sounds really odd, right? Is achieving the blue belt. So the blue belt is such a big journey, right? Because you're in the gym and you're not getting anything, right? And it could be for up to 3-4 years. If you're coming a couple of times a week, you're trying hard, you might just be a slow learner. But the average that I put out to the guys is my thing is it's going to take you about 4 years. Right? Put that in your mind. It's going to take you 4 years. You can do stuff to bring it in. If you're a super competitive, athletic, strong guy, it might come down. If you learn outside of the gym, that stuff might come down. But by default, 4 years is about how long it takes someone to get their blue belt. I'm not going to give you a 4 years, but that's the benchmark. Now, if it's going to take 4 years, like let's say it takes someone 4 years, it took me 4 years. Yeah. Now you've got this blue belt, right? Massive achievement. And you look at the next achievement and you go, I have to do all that again. Another 4 years.
I think it's a good point because the blue belt for many is is like the end goal for many. It's not the beginning, but really is the beginning, isn't it?
Look at the comparison. We shouldn't, but we're gonna. If you look at the comparison of, it took me 3.5 years to get a black belt in Japanese jiu-jitsu. It took me 4 years to get my blue belt. Yeah? And then I was on my blue belt for my purple belt. I was on it for 10 years. Yeah? So what jiu-jitsu does is it holds you accountable. Right? This is on you. Your next belt's on you. It's not on the coach. Yeah? My job is here to teach and guide you. Your job is to work hard.
Work hard and apply.
Hard, apply, be consistent. If you're not consistent, it's going to take you longer. If you don't work hard.
So you've mentioned 4 years. It'd be you're expecting the blue belt, the white belt who's close to give you a reason to lessen that 4 years. Then, aren't you? In a way, I'm showing you what to do. Let's do it. Apply yourself. Work hard. Yeah. Do you think after they get the blue belt, for many people, that there's no kind of clear goal after the belt? They've got the blue belt now and they're like, I've got my blue belt and, I'm a blue belt. I'm all right. And there's no kind of clear direction, because I can imagine up to a blue belt, you'd have someone who can escape certain pains. They've got a good transition into sweeps or submissions. And it's like, what more is there to learn? I've learned an armbar, I've learned a choke. Do you agree that there's no clear direction after the blue belt?
Sometimes people at blue belt don't quite understand they can't see the full journey. And and that's it. If you don't understand the full journey and you think you're at the top of the mountain already, right, and you can challenge purple belts and you think you can beat brown belts, then what is there left in this sport? Or if you think the opposite is true as well, right? If you don't think you're at the top of the mountain, but you think getting that purple belt is just too far, right? I'm never going to get to my black belt. Them are also thoughts which will put you off going to that next level.
Do you think sometimes, life just gets in the way? Maybe a lack of discipline at that particular stage, and that's one of the reasons people quit at blue belt?
Two things there, but one is life getting in the way, right? And it's hard, rather than life getting in the way, life happening, right? So if you're a young blue belt and now you have to start earning money, right? You realize that jiu-jitsu is not going to pave the way in terms of my financial career. I want to actually earn some good money. So I start a job. Now the job finishes at 6 o'clock. Training starts at 6 o'clock. What do? It takes some commitment to go from that job, get straight to training, tell coach, listen, coach, I've started this job, finishes at 6 o'clock. I'm going to be here for 6:30. And then doing that on a discipline schedule after your hard day. Let's say you're on customer calls and customers are shouting at you. It takes a lot out of you. Now you have to come here and you have to do all of this. So that's hard. Having a kid.
Yeah. Family, wife, mom, dad. Yeah.
You got to go home. You got to look after them. They have a right over you as well. Right? So now you're like, your missus has been up all night with a kid, right? And you're like, hey,
I've got my blue belt.
I've got my blue belt out. So there are things. One thing that I say to people who are leaving is, don't worry about it. Jiu-jitsu will be here when you come back. Yeah? So go do your thing. Family first is massive here, right? Go look after your family. Make sure they all have what they need from you. Then come to jiu-jitsu. So it's a big thing. Life does happen. It happened to me, right? I took so long off. Not my 1.5 years off. That wasn't family. That was me. But there's other times when my kids were born. Right? Did I have my kid and then on the Wednesday and then Thursday I'm like, I'm off to training? No, you gotta look after family. So look after your family. When my kids had their GCSEs and had other stuff, you gotta back up. You gotta go look at them. Yeah. So there are things that sometimes family comes first.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that. Family definitely.
Keep your toe in it, because once you're out, like we said earlier, a week turns into 6 weeks, turns into a month. Yeah. It's hard to get back into it 100%. And I do applaud the guys who have. There's a couple of guys in our gym who trained with us time ago. We're talking like 7-8 years ago, and they've started to come back. Yeah. If they hadn't left, they'd be black belts by now. Yeah, because it's been
Don't say that. They might be watching and they know who they are. They might get upset.
I do know, and I've said it to them, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They know.
Just get the tissues, wipe the tears.
Yeah, bless. Because all of us were at the same level, right? I was a blue, they were a blue, they dropped off. I kind of kept going. Yeah. And now I've got my black. They should be there or thereabouts. Yeah. And they will get there. I can see the determination in their eyes. Inshallah, they'll get there, and I wish the best for them. Just
I don't know who you are, by the way, but you will get there, inshallah. So in terms of belt inflation, meaning someone getting their belt too early, what role does that play in blue belt blues and blue belts quitting?
right? Because you're still a white belt. You're still getting beat by the white belts, right? So one thing, and I think this is a John Danaher quote saying that as a blue belt, you should not be getting pinned by your peers on the mat. Yeah. So so if you're a white belt and you think you're a blue belt, are you getting pinned by other white belts? The answer is yes. Then you're not a blue belt. Right? Pinning is a big thing. So we've talked about this before. Defense for me is massive, right? If I'm confident in my defense, I can attack. If I'm getting pinned by white belts, this is what I need. So all them game plans we were talking about, this is what I'm fixing. Yeah. If I think I'm a blue belt now and I'm getting pinned by white belts, I have problems. Yeah, we got problems right now. So, and does that lead to you feeling like the blue belt blues? Yeah, and rightly so. It should.
Pinned. Yeah, don't get pinned by a white belt.
There are exceptions if the guy is like 100 kilos more than you. Like there are exceptions.
No, but even then, they got blue belt. They should know how to get out.
I want to remind you of that, Dozy.
So just a few questions on when you were a blue belt again. Is it really a plateau or is it laziness with the label?
It's a plateau. It's a plateau. You hit that brick. So when people, marathon runners, they talk about marathons and they talk about, I wouldn't ever know. I've never run a long distance. They talk about hitting the wall. It is genuinely hitting the wall. I've had it with so many blue belts. I know the belts, but blue belts in particular, where you just don't know what to do. It's not working. Jiu-jitsu is not fun anymore. Yeah. You try to suss it out in your head, and it's just not there. Yeah. The bit that I'll tell you though is it's one piece of information. Right? If one click, something will fall, and this whole a floodgates will open, and you'll just be on a tidal wave. You ride that tide again. But for that one nugget, it can take months.
Wow, not years.
Usually not years, right? But it'll take months of work and work and work and work, and you're just like, oh my god, nothing's working. Yeah, I'm trying to get to side control. The guy just bench pressing me up. What's going on? And then there'll be one nugget, one click, and you'll blast through everyone.
And you'll be like Neo from the Matrix. You can just see all the numbers and the binary, right? Yeah.
It's how to get that one golden nugget. It's so much hard work. But you'll get there if you keep consistent, you keep working, you do all the good things we talk about. You'll get there and you'll get that golden nugget. And after that, it'll a tidal wave until your next plateau.
Oh, I can't wait to feel my tidal wave in white belt. So you mentioned earlier as well that there's a certain amount of skill that a blue belt should have. And one of the aspects you said, not get pinned, for example, and all of this. Do you look at the mental capacity of certain individuals when they've got a skill of a blue belt, but mentally they might not be ready for it? So how does that play in you promoting someone to a blue belt?
So this is where we talked about earlier. It's the personal journey, right? You got to be physically and mentally ready to get your blue belt. Because if I give this person a blue belt and they're not mentally ready for it, that blue belt blues are just going to be just that much harder. So I have to now make you believe that you're a blue belt, right? And then give you your physical attributes are doing it, right? You're technical enough, you're strong enough, you're fit enough, you're going to the gym, you're studying, you're doing all the right things. Right? But in your mind, right, there's some people who are they don't believe in themselves. So now we have to work on that confidence level to bring you up to get you a blue. If you think about that gradient, this person, we need to knock him up towards that solid blue a little bit before we give him it. Other people, right, that speck of blue and they're enough. Like, I'm a blue belt, top of the mountain, doom. Other people, we need to knock them on, get a little bit more of a solid blue.
Yeah. That's a great kind of analogy there. What you're giving is this gradient, because it's really, you can picture this in your head where it's white and there's a little bit of blue, and then you're working yourself to get up to solid blue. So I think that's great, and you can put if there's any blue belts watching, but where do you think you are on the spectrum? Obviously, you don't need to tell us that you are anyway, but it's a good kind of analogy there. Last question on why people quit, or on this particular aspect of the podcast. What is the difference between blues and boredom in BJJ?
Blues and boredom.
So is blues just another word where someone's bored of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and they quit? Or what is the difference?
So this is the plateau, really. It's, you can disguise your boredom in your inability to get better. Because if you think about it like this, as a white belt, you're gonna get better fast because you know nothing. Yeah, it's an empty tank that you're filling. Like, it's gonna get filled, no problem. But now, when we're full, like, how do we get more knowledge in? What we gotta start doing is we gotta start disregarding some of this stuff. Yeah, like, I'm only gonna work bottom position. Right? As a white belt, work everything, do everything. The catalog's open. Pick any, flick to a page, pick something. We don't care. Work everything. As a blue belt, now you gotta start putting yourself in situations where, okay, you know what? I'm only working half guard top. That's it. I need to get good at this.
Is that to kind of establish their game, or is that maybe something they're weak at?
So both. Half guard top is a very position that everyone should be working, but it's both. One is to stop that boredom aspect we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you carry on doing what you were doing at white belt, or just flicking through and picking something from the catalog, you're gonna flick through everything in your technical capability.
Yeah.
By the time you're a blue belt, you've been doing this for a while now, right?
Yeah.
So then you're gonna be flicking like, I already know how half guard.
Yeah.
Flicking through, I already know this move.
Yeah.
I already know this move.
Yeah.
When the coach is showing something, you've probably already seen it before.
Yeah.
What you need to start doing is getting down to the finer details. John Danaher, so when I spoke to Spen, I was talking to him about John Danaher once.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how anal John Danaher is about thumbs up or thumbs down, thumbs down. Right? But when you're at blue belt, you need to work this stuff out. Yeah?
Okay.
Should I be, when I'm doing pressure passing, should I be looking in? Should I be looking out?
Wow, that matters.
Yes, it matters. Should my weight be towards my right hip or my left hip? Right? All these things now, we should start building patterns. Like, when I get to this position, this person can do A, B, or C. What happens if he does A? How do I explore that?
So this is that branch thing you talk about a lot, don't you? Like, when you're in a certain position and there's branches which you can take, avenues. If this person takes this way, I'm going to do this, and then from there it branches off. So yeah, you talk about that a lot.
That spider web where my absolute key move is in the middle, but you catch the person at the end. How do I get him from this end into the center?
That's going to take years.
Them there. So that's what we're building. That's what, as a blue belt now, you need to stop just rolling. Just rolling is done now.
So at blue belt, you shouldn't free roll.
Not that you shouldn't free roll at all. You shouldn't. That's not where we're learning and improving.
So positional rolling.
Having fun now. Yeah. Yeah, free roll's having fun. Like, you want to free roll because, like, everyone wants to have a scrap. Right? Get that ego out. Go find a white belt, kill him. But when you're going to learn is in your positional rolls. Now, sometimes what you have to do, because sometimes the gym won't allow it, right, is in your free rolls, make it a positional roll. Yeah. So when I'm learning a new move, right, let's say I'm learning a half guard move, something from half guard, I'm doing high head camping or low head camping or something like that. I'll put myself in the position. Right? Everything in this roll is to get to that position. And then if I pass, right, I'll lift my chest up, give them space, let them get me back in the position and go again. If I'm underneath, I was talking about the choi bar, right? I'm working on this choi bar, I'm getting it wrong, right? People are passing my guard. Right? I'm doing everything I need to do for recovery. Then I'm going back to the choi bar. I'm doing it again and again and again. I'm getting battered every time. Doesn't matter. Make the free roll a positional roll.
Okay, so key takeaway there, guys. If you're looking to progress fast, positional rolls are for the win. Put yourself in the situation that you're practicing. Do that in your free rolls as well. Golden nugget from Coach Barber again.
About blue belts shouldn't be pinned. Get yourself pinned. Kino Cornelius tells a really good story where he came into the gym and he was working triangle escapes, and he just walk into people's triangles, right? And then try escaping, walk into triangle escape.
You can expect him to do it. He's a madman, isn't he?
He is, but he's also at his time was genius, absolute genius. But like that's the way to do it. If you want to get good at triangle escapes, guess where you need to be? You need to get triangles. Right? I can't get good reading about it or watching instructions. Need to get into triangle.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so I wanted to give you some controversial takes on Blue Belt Blues. I'm just going to read it out to you, and I want you to react or give me your first thoughts of what you think about it. Yeah, so some blue belts act like they've made it.
100%. Stop it, fool. You're at the start of your journey. Get a grip.
Why do you think they feel like that? Is it because it's
So long. It's a lot of work. It's hard work. Consistency. It's genuinely. You should feel a little bit of pride about yourself. You've done a lot of work, but there's 5 belts and you've achieved 1.
the first colored belt first belt you've earned?
I gave you the first one for free. You know what I mean? Like, calm down. Like, this is not Japanese jiu-jitsu where you earn your white belt. You start a red belt. You have to earn your white belt. You start a red belt, yeah, and then you earn your white belt. But here you get your white belt when if you walk through the door and step on my mats, you're a white belt. You didn't have to do it. That's a lot, and we talk about that. That's a big achievement. But there's no skill acquisition. You didn't earn anything in terms of skill acquisition. It's like the default medal in a comp, right?
You get props for it, but you didn't really earn it, right?
Now you've earned this, but calm down. It's 1. There's more belts to go. Chill out.
Okay, so the next point: others become arrogant and stop learning. Others, as in blue belts.
Wow, this is so true. So true. Like, they'll mid-roll, they'll start teaching you. And I'm like, you want to slap? Stop it. I'm in the middle of rolling. I don't need you to stop and show me how you spin on your head. I don't care. Like, get on with it. Or I'm about to rear naked choke them, and they're like, well, John Danaher says, if you move your elbow 5 degrees, I'm like, my brother, I'm about to put my fist through your face. Like, let's stop it. Right? Behave yourself. Like, don't suddenly, like, all white belt have been walking with a posture like this, and suddenly they get a blue belt. They're like, easy now, my man. So yes, they do. Check yourself. Like, you haven't learned everything. It's the first belt.
Look in the mirror, slap yourself. People want belts, not the grind that comes after.
Even the grind before, they don't want it. Yeah, like, people want the belts because they think this is some Japanese jiu-jitsu system, right? If you want a belt, right, $5.99, top rank. They sell belts. You can get them on Amazon for about $7.99. Yeah, you can get ones with your name on it. Order them. That's how you get a belt if you want a belt. If you want to earn it, put the work in. Just on that note, I've had people come to me and say, so-and-so in your gym, like, he's really upset. I'm like, why? You promoted so-and-so, didn't promote him. I went, then let him cry. I ain't giving you a belt because you're upset. You don't deserve it. So if you want a belt and you're not working hard enough, right, then you know what to do. Go to Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, what do you think about some gyms promote to keep students paying?
Mac Dojo. We know it's true. We know it's true.
Not just in Eastern martial arts, in BJJ as well, right?
When we talked about that, right? We talked about people going to that level, right? There's I was talking to a kid once, and he had stripes on his belt, right? And he had loads of them. I'm like, what are all these stripes? He goes, oh, in my gym they give 12 stripes before they give you an next belt. I'm just like, I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, every month you'll get a stripe. And I'm like, and after 12, then you can get your next belt. I'm like, fantastic. Like the kid wants to come now, right? He wants to get it. And there's other gyms that have they've split the blue, purple, brown, black up to other belts. Right? And they give you a new belt a lot more often.
Do you think sometimes coaches promote knowing someone won't make it to purple?
Whoa, wow.
Coaches sometimes promote knowing someone won't make it to purple. This guy's never gonna make it. I'll just give him his blue belt for God's sake. He's been coming for 10 years. He's been coming for 10 years. I've made thousands of him. Let me give his blue belt. He's never gonna make it to purple.
That changed the dynamic. So not like that, no. But someone who's gonna get their blue, but they're never gonna be able to get the finesse of a purple belt. Yeah, if he deserves his blue belt, give him his blue belt, regardless of if he's gonna make his purple. And even though if in the back of your mind you know he's not gonna make his purple, he still deserves his blue. Give him it.
Few personal questions from your experience. I don't expect any names. You can drop them if you want. Have you ever seen someone promoted too early who clearly wasn't ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you see in them?
So okay, someone came in. They come out there. I'm about to go for my purple belt. I'm pretty close to my purple belt. I went, yeah, cool, no problem. And this is when we went that formal. Like, it wasn't game fight. We were at another club. We were like, cool. The guy got mauled by the blue belt. Like, I mean, mauled. The guy couldn't get his back off the mat. And I'm like, my brother, purple belt. So you see it where people get promoted way too early. Yes.
Belts get too cocky.
The blue, yes, they do.
Yeah. And do you think that's because they've spent 4 years, they think blue belt's the end goal, and I've made it. I'm the yeah. But then when they roll and they get smashed, then it's a reality.
At blue belt in a relatively new club, are you gonna get smashed? Blue belts, if you pick your roles, are you gonna get smashed? If you pick all the small white belts, you might never get smashed. You might be living the story of like, I'm just gonna go into this gym. I'm gonna go to the beginners class only. I'm gonna smash all the beginners. I'm gonna do my A move that I learned at the start, and I'm just gonna rip that move on and on, spam that move. I'm gonna make the beginners suffer. Yeah. Then is that person ever gonna get checked? He's only gonna get checked if the instructor goes, "Hang on, my friend. Let's drag you out of this beginners class into the intermediate advanced class. Let's see you do it."
Let's see what you're made of. Yeah, agreed. Last one on this particular segment.
I like to keep going.
Yeah. I feel like lightning in your eyes, seeing these answers coming out. Is it better to lose students who really aren't committed?
Is it better you?
Is it better to lose them? And this is not thinking from a monetary aspect, because I know that's not.
As in not giving them the belt.
No. Is it better to let them quit? Someone who's not committed, you can see they come to the gym, they have the easy rolls all the time. They're not committed to skill acquisition. Is it better to just let them quit?
No, it's not.
Okay, why?
Because the gym gives them some. Jiu-jitsu gives them some. Even if they don't want to get better, the gym gives them. We don't. If we go back now, let's roll it back from the jovial topics. Everyone needs a mission. Especially as a man, we need a mission. And if your release, if your mission, if your whole non-curricular activity is this, right, and this is what's keeping you sane, right, and it doesn't matter about if you get your purple belt, if you're just not, if it's not a thing, right, if you're just coming here to get away from the madness that is the world, right, then so be it. We are not a gym that's gonna force you into a box. The journey's yours. Yeah? You can take it where you want. If you are the type that you want to compete, you want to be the best, you want to drive, come. We give you that opportunity. If you're here, you're laid back, you're like, you know what? I don't care if I don't learn another move for the next 5 years. I just want to be here. Right? I enjoy the company, the boys.
Yeah, it becomes a bit of a social aspect. Yeah.
So be it.
Yeah.
If that person doesn't turn up, should I not bother calling him? No, I call him.
I like the witty Coach Barber. I don't know about the serious, kind Coach Barber. I think we need to ask more of these jovial questions. Okay, so we've spoken about what blue belt blues are. the harsh truth behind why a lot of people quit at blue belts? Because as I think we spoke about this off camera, you said it's one of the most common belts for people to quit at.
So take white off, the most common earned belt. Right? So take white off, right? So some people might come in, they're a white belt, they go, this is not for me. I want to hug other people. Off they go. Fair enough. A blue belt is your first earned belt, and you say you've made it. You're at top of the mountain. So once you get your purple, now you're like 6, 7, 8 years in.
Very much of an expert to a certain degree, right?
But is the expert belt, but we're gonna leave that to that one, right?
Just to give you an insight into the next one.
Purple belt is not as many people leave at purple belt. Right? Then brown, you've almost made it, man. Like you're so close, right? Like so, very few people leave at brown. And then black, there are black belts who never train again, but it's very hard.
And this is jumping a lot of belts, but even then, have you really made it a black belt? Have you really made it? But we'll cover that. Okay, so and then we've covered the controversial takes. Now, I want to speak about with yourself, Coach Barber, is how people can survive the blue belt blues and stop people from quitting and feeling how they do. What are some of? I'm gonna again read you out some bullet points. Tell me what your personal opinion is on these particular ones. Maybe they can reset their goals. Reset their goals. Stop chasing belts.
Goals is a big one because when people come in, one of their goals is to get their blue belt. Now they got the blue belt, they're like, done. It happened with me when I did powerlifting, right? I had numbers in my mind. And once I hit the numbers, I'm like, I'm done here, right? There was so much more I could have. I'm glad I did quit because I needed to do this. But it's a mindset. Once I get my goal, what do I do next? Reset your goals. Look around the gym and I want to be like him. Right? He keeps smashing me. He keeps doing this, keeps doing that. How do I stop that? Go ask the coach, have the conversation. Not how to smash that person. Don't ask the coach. Don't ask the coach. But ask the coach about some things like when someone does this, how do I stop it? When I end up in this position a lot, how do I stop it? What do I do here? We did a thing on Friday where I did question and answers. I went, come in, you got questions, you got answers. Someone came up some beautiful scenarios, right? And I was very jovial with them saying like, well, you're going to get smashed. But then we gave them some actual advice. Say, look, this is the sort of situations you need to be in. Try this. I'm going to check in with that brother and say, listen, how's it going? Because now I'm invested. So get your coach invested in your journey. And now the coach will come in, a good coach will come in and check in and say, yo, hang on a second. Like, we talked about this. How's it going? And if they say yes, no, and if the coach doesn't check in, go to the coach and say, coach, I'm trying that, it's not working. Well, how do we fix it? A good coach will fix it. So have new goals, right? Not massive goals. Don't say I want to be a black belt. Calm down. You're a blue belt. But have small goals that you can attain in 1, 2, 3 months and then build from there. Keep moving them goals.
Agreed. What about reigniting your why? Love the process, not just promotions.
That's a fantastic slogan. So hard though. So hard. Yes, you wanna ignite that desire for jiu-jitsu. I'm lucky enough that early on, like I fell in love with the sport and there it was. But when you're searching, like we talked about earlier, when you're searching for that golden nugget and it's just not dropping and it's months and you're like, what is going on here? I just can't work it. The promise is that if you keep working properly, diligently, consistency, ask the right questions, be invested, it'll come. And then there'll be a tidal wave. Right? That's the promise. You just got to hold out.
Yeah. Do you agree that at blue belt, and this is not one of the points, I just wanted to know what you think. Do you think at blue belt, it really is a siphon, like a filter, to filter out the people who are doing it for the sake of it and the people who are actually have a passion for jits?
Yes, evidently the data kind of shows that, right? Because it's like, it takes a lot to get your blue belt, but it takes even more to get your purple. If you stop that blue, sometimes it's a life event, right? And that's fair play. There's a lot of people who stop at blue, wait a couple of years, come back, and that's fine. That's it happens. But people who quit. It just wasn't for you.
What about mixing things up? Gi, no gi, wrestling, leg locks, positional drills. Can that kind of help survive the blue belt blues? Yeah, my point being more of trying some different things. For example, if someone trains predominantly gi at a blue belt, maybe try no gi, and I guess what you said is right as well. Try specialty kind of approaches
You should have done that at white.
at white.
At white. Not the specialty approach, but trying everything out. Because your white belt is understanding not understanding, just seeing the landscape and going,
Being exposed to everything, right? Yeah.
there's a lot to learn here, right? Because you see when people walk in the door, right, they're like, this is going to be easy. Right? Then as they go through the beginners program, they're like, you can do that. Like, how do you, what? Like, where do I put my hand? Right. And they start, the eyes start opening, and what they see, they just see this landscape in front of them. They're like, how am I supposed to learn all of this? Right? So this is the time to try learning as much. Do some wrestling, do some gi, do some no gi, do a bit of everything. See what it's like. Right? Once you get to blue belt, you can still carry on exploring. There's nothing wrong with that. Always keep exploring. I'm exploring new things, and I'm not blue belt. But you need to start picking now. Yeah? So don't just flick through the catalog now. Now go, that's my move.
Pick things, maybe what they like or what they're good at, start working them.
Get some time to it, dedicate a couple of months, and then you can decide that's not for me.
One particular person comes to my mind when you say that, and he's one of our boys, and he was speaking to me about, and we've spoken about this as well, where he comes in and he just does one particular drill for months on end, but then you can see the actual rewards of him doing that. So I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with the point you're making now.
Yeah, 100%. Right. So I think if I'm thinking about the same guy, he's a bit obsessed. But do it for some time. Right? Don't do it for one session, go, that didn't work. Right? And then you walk away, and in actual fact you did it with all the higher belts in the class. That's why it didn't work. Yeah. So do it for a while. Try working out the kinks in your game. Try working out what's wrong. Right? Go find solutions. Ask the coaches. Ask the higher belts. Ask people. Like, have the conversation. That's how we gather data. That's how we get better. Try the suggestions. The suggestions that might not work for you. One of the big things, and this is really cool because J-Flow's coming, right? And what's the difference between watching J-Flow on his subscription site and coming to the class? Like, why am I going to pay whatever the thing is and come to the class when I can pay a lot less and watch his subscription site? Right? So the difference is when you're watching him on the site, that's his techniques that you're copying. Yeah? When he's here in the room, right, he's going to teach you, and that technique that's his, you can make your own. Yeah? You put because now when he gives you it, he's going to give you what the fundamental understanding is, and you go, I know what you're trying to do. My body doesn't quite work like that. What if I do it like this? And he look at you and go, yeah, actually. And then if you put your hand there as well, and you can work together now, his technique or that technique is now my technique. That's the difference between a seminar and watching the instructional. I've watched Matthias Zizinski's instructionals, quite a few of them. But when I went to his seminar and he went, actually, look, I'm trying to do this. And when he said, I'm trying to do this, I'm like, oh, that's a bit like, that's not on the instructions. And the instruction is this technique, this technique, this technique. No, I'm trying to do this. I want to do this.
A bit more of an insight to the end goal.
I know that I can make it mine. So that's the difference between doing that. So the reason I bring that up is go to the coach and ask them what's going on here, right? And when he says, oh, you want to try doing this, take that and go, oh, okay, now how am I going to do that? Rather than, how do you make your own? That'll help you build this game that's specialized to you.
So that goes hand in hand with my next point. Does that mean, to survive the Blue Belt Blues, they can come in and train with intention, not just to show up and force the classes, to actually have a game plan on the points you just mentioned, to incorporate those, to have a kind of goal, what you're trying to get out of it, so training with intention, I think, can be a massive kind of tool to survive these blue belt blues. Is that something you'd agree with?
Yes.
And it's the shift, right? It's the shift of the person going from this white belt, learning everything, trying everything, to this blue belt where now I'm trying to be very intentional with my training. And that shift takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Takes a little bit of understanding of how I'm going to do it. Takes a little bit of getting used to. But
Yeah. Last point for me, I'll just ask you a couple of questions. If someone gets to a blue belt, they're going through the blue belt blues. How can them starting to compete reignite the intensity, the love, would that be a tool to help them to survive the blue belt blues, just start competing?
either that or he's going to take them the other way. It could well.
If they win the gold, it'll reignite.
If they get smashed,
They quit.
hopefully not.
No, so I probably wouldn't advise getting your blue belt and then going, this is my first comp.
Yeah.
Right. It depends on where you got your blue belt, right? If it's that guy who's not that confident and we had to wait and wait and wait, and now he's a solid, like on that gradient, he's a solid blue belt, we're like, oh, go compete, it's not a problem. Right? But if you're competing before as a white belt and you get a blue belt, yeah, go for it. Your first comp, like say I give you blue belt on Monday and you're competing on Tuesday, whoa, hang on a second, let's build a plan, let's start working on some stuff. I probably wouldn't do that, no.
Okay. Just a couple of questions for your personal journey when you went through the blue belt blues. What helped you? I mean, you've mentioned some nuggets about your experience of blue belt blues as well, but as a general kind of approach, what helped you push through your blue belt blues?
Learning. I wasn't a geek in terms of studying it. I was a geek in terms of trying to work stuff out. I love the puzzle of jiu-jitsu. And now I had to work out, because my coach had said I'm not allowed to do close guard anymore. I had to work out another guard. What other guard is there? I picked butterfly. And I love butterfly as well. Yeah. So like that whole thing about what's happening, why they're getting over my legs, why they're going, why can't I keep my hooks? People always comment when I'm in butterfly that I've got really sticky hooks. God, I've been doing it so long. You know what I mean? Like sticky hooks are important. So all these things about how, why, when, yeah, that's what got me through mine. The passion for learning.
Fantastic. To me, blue belt feels like I can picture them as a middle child. It's like you've not forgotten them there. Okay.
Coupled off the mid belt.
Should coaches do more to help blue belts get through the blue belt blues?
We can only do so much. So we're here. If you need something, we will give it to you. I'll push, and like I can initiate the conversation. But if you're like we talk about this, a common theme in our podcast is communication, right? Like if you're not communicating your problem, I can't help you. Right? I can initiate it sometimes, but like when you have so many students, how many conversations can I initiate? Right? I'm trying to look at everyone, try to get around everyone. We have sub coaches that look after people. We've built a clan system as well, where some of our senior guys look after some of the. So we do everything we can to try spotting and watching and seeing. But if you're having a problem with jiu-jitsu, yeah, have a chat. Say, coach, I'm not feeling it. I'm like, cool, no problem. Let's talk.
Yep. How do you think competition changes the way a blue belt sees jiu-jitsu?
How competition changes it is big. So one of the things that I say is like, and we talked about this, right, in the competition one, about your level of what you think your 100% is. Right? And whatever you think your 100% is, Tubzi, it's not. Because you're going to go into comp and your heart's going to beat faster than it ever beat before. You're not going to understand what an adrenaline dump is until you step on their mouth. You're like, like, all this stuff is going to happen. How does that change you as a blue belt? But you understand that, all that stuff we talk about, game plan, and we talk about being specific and purposeful and direct and consistent, all that stuff matters. Right? Everything in a role now has to be very, very precise. Right? One of the things, so give you an example here, right? One of the guys, he was doing a move, doing a technique, right? And he was getting it in the gym, and people were tapping. And come to me and go, people don't do that in comp. They wouldn't tap to that in comp. Why are people tapping? I'm like, because the people are tapping don't come.
Threshold's a lot higher, didn't it? Like you mentioned, yeah.
I'll put a foot lock on me, and they're like, why are you not tapping? I'm like, because I wouldn't tap in comp. And you're getting ready for comp. If it's some white belt and he's just messing around, all right, cool, no problem. But if this person's getting ready for comp and he's putting a footlock on and there's a technical problem with it, I'm not tapping.
You're not going to tap. Give it a proper live scenario. Right?
That in comp, generally, to get someone to tap, they have to believe it's going to break. If it's not going to break, why am I going to tap? I'm going to lose.
A bit of pain, it's all right, I'll take it.
Pain. Yeah. A pain, like if you've got a footlock and it's halfway up the calf and it's painful, like, is my leg going to break? No, it's leg versus your arm. I'm going to be okay. Right? But if you get that perfectly in the back of the Achilles and you're hyperextending all the tendons on the front of the foot and I start feeling pops, I'm tapping.
Yeah, because it's about to break. Yeah.
So people respect the break or the choke, right? But that's what they respect. So give them that.
You hear that a lot when I listen to podcasts for elite grapplers, is they always refer to as certain submissions as the breaking point, and that's what you're kind of saying at that particular point. So just one last question from me, coach, and this has been flying around a lot. I've read up and I've seen other podcasts on this. I wanted to know what your opinion was. At a blue belt level, should blue belts know how to put on leg lock? Should they know different types of ashigarami, as a outside, inside, whatever, butterfly ashis? Should they know these particular variations of leg lock?
As a blue belt, you should know the basics of not every position, but the major positions, right? So you should know all of that stuff. Should you know the intricate details of switching between all of the inside, outside, butterfly, all this stuff? You don't need to know all of that stuff yet. Yeah? But should you know the basics? Should you know how to, if I get into a single leg X, should I be able to finish a footlock? Yes. Yeah? But that's just like saying, if I get into a half armbar position, should I be able to finish that? Yes, you should.
Or would you go as far as saying, if someone's a blue belt and they can't finish a straight ankle lock from a single leg X, that they shouldn't be a blue belt?
Shouldn't be a blue belt. No, I wouldn't go that.
So let me rephrase the question. Should a person who's coming up to a blue belt but they're still a white belt know footlocks who earn a blue belt?
Basic footlocks, yes, at a basic level. They don't need to be advanced. I say that with all due respect to blue belts. Only a blue belt. Yeah. I'm not grading you for a black belt here. Yeah. So if you don't know 6 different transitions to end of, yeah, fine, no problem. You can learn that. But right now, do you know the basics? One of the coaches here, right, says that people at blue belt are still rubbish at jiu-jitsu.
That's hard for me to comprehend because I know some blue belts. I'm thinking, bloody hell, there.
I don't particularly agree with the coach in that stance, but you got to understand it's my first belt. Don't put so much burden in. You don't need to know how to transition from DAS to front headlock to anaconda to, you know what I mean, to the Marcelo team. Like, you don't need all of that. Right? Do you need to know the DAS? Yeah. Do you need to know the anaconda? Yeah. Do you need to know the front guillotine? Yeah. You need to know all these positions. But do you need to become subject matter experts in each one and then chain them together? No. Because if you were, I'd give you a black belt. You know what I mean? Like, the difference is here. So, no, you don't need to be a subject matter expert in leg locks. You know the basics. Same with an armbar, same with the Americana, same with front headlocks, same with rear naked chokes. You need to know the basics of it all to get your blue belt. Blue belt's the first belt. Chill out.
Yeah, the first belt that's earned, not given. Okay, so we've done a real deep dive into the blue belt blues, and I feel like Coach Barber has supplied us all with a SOS toolbox to survive the blue belt blues. So again, big thanks to Coach Barber sharing his personal experiences as well, and kind of exploring how you can help yourself to get through the blue belt blues. You know, how to reignite the fire. A big takeaway for me, and I'm guessing for yourself, is to be the promotion of positional roles as opposed to free roles. Give yourself a given situation. If you want to work half guard top, like Coach mentioned, put yourself in that position. If you're working escapes, put yourself in that position and start working from there. Reach out to coach if you need any kind of guidance. Reach out to the clan leaders, the senior coaches, the senior the experienced grapplers. Reach out to them. Next week, we'll so not next week, but on the next topic we'll be covering purple belts. Now, so I don't know what you call that. What would you call
They
that?
call them mid.
Mid purple. So we'll be called. That's so boring. Like blue belt sounds so good.
It's very offensive to the purple belt, right?
Oh wow. Okay, mid purple.
Plus they made it, right? And so they're mid. You haven't made it yet. You're right in the middle. Because there's 5 belts and you're in the middle. So mid purple.
You're halfway there. So we'll be covering mid purples. Let us know if you find yourself what you struggled with in the blue belt blues, what you did to get out of this big hole, and how you progressed. Maybe some of our watchers, if you left the sport of jiu-jitsu at blue belt and you had years out, why did you have that out? What caused that? What made you come back? How was your progression when you came back? Let us know. Drop all your comments below and let us.
Make sure you subscribe. Most of our subscribers are not for. Most of our watchers are not subscribers. Like 70%. So if you're watching this and you made it all the way to this, make sure you hit that subscribe.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and
The standard thing is because we don't know. so do the YouTube things and then we'll appreciate it.
but again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Tubzi, the one thing left to do.
Whoosh.